Good afternoon. Today is day number 339 of 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. And we have today's service hero. She actually was recognized as a service hero a while ago. However, it was back in the day when I was still learning how to do a few things. And if you see that show, it actually starts off where we're sideways.
That is right.
And it's been fun, and it's been a ride ever since then, together with Erin Houchins. Houchins. I have to say, she always says, okay, say couch. Houchins. Okay, so Erin, let me brag about Erin. Anybody that is involved with the Chemo Buddies for Life nowadays knows Erin. Erin has stepped up to the plate, and she has become basically the wind beneath my wings and all of our wings. She keeps me going. Seriously, she's actually organizing me, and she is helping our whole movement to go to the next level, and so that we are making sure to see that no one faces cancer alone. So welcome, Erin. I'm so excited to have you here.
Well, I'm excited to be here. I'm terrified, but I'm here, right?
I'm so proud of you. And I really want to bring that up because, we may need to do something with the sound. I'm realizing, so we'll see about that. I want to recognize people as they show up. We've got Spencer Rose here from Chicago. Yes, wildlife. I watched your video today about skunks. That was interesting. And we have Caroline, actually known as Carol Brown. And I just received in the mail from Canada some donations that were just loaded into the line also today. So I just want to say thank you for those that in Canada that are helping us with Chemo Buddies for Life, and the donations that have just come here. And yes, thank you. I love it. And then we have one of our volunteers, one of our board members. We have Skip Thomas. Yes, she is awesome. We do have a great team.
Yes.
I absolutely love our team. I don't think there's any other way to say it except for just absolute love. It's unconditional, 100%. We love what we're doing and our mission and everything. And so I want to welcome you today, Erin.
Well, I'm so happy to be here. I really am. And what's funny is, so when we very first met, that first live, that was actually me being brave then. And I think I did one in between, and I really have just been terrified to do it. So I thank you for baptizing me by fire once again.
Yeah, it was one of those situations. She goes, okay, so do you have someone for tomorrow? And I'm like, no, I do now. It's you.
Yeah, I asked for it.
Well, and what I'm so absolutely, and we've talked a lot about this, I'm so proud of who you are and what you're doing and how you're reaching out. And I really believe that you are so inspirational to so many, because I know what it's like to be a single mom. I know what it's like to be entrepreneurial. I know what it's like to live in the area that you live in, and not quite the city, but the state. I'm in Southern California now. However, I lived in the state that you're in. And so you are, to me, truly an inspiration, because you are not letting geographics, family situation, any of it get in your way. You are working through it all. You're pushing through your fear factors, and you are saying, okay, it's time, right?
Yes, it's time for sure. And all of those things shouldn't be any reason to hold anyone back. And I just recently, well, it's been, I guess, 2 years now since I moved back home to where I grew up in central Utah. And I did live up in Bluffdale, up in the Salt Lake area for about 6 years. And it's just coming back, it was just this pull. And then I had all of these fears of whatever that would look like. But the more I'm here, the more I find everything's really just, it's so much more, even more available, even though I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere in so many things. You know, it really, we have technology today, and I have connections and who I can sincerely consider my dearest friends all over the world at this point. So I really have, it's been an amazing journey.
And that's what I find so inspiring about you, because I mean, and we can be real here because of the fact that many times in life we can do one of two things. We get to that crossroads, and we've talked about this a lot. You get to that crossroads and you say, okay, I can either go this way or that way, but I've got to make a choice. Now, we can always backtrack and we can do all the other things that can happen. However, when you finally get to that place where you're just like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm ready. I'm ready to make something happen here. I don't know what that's going to look like. And that is a little scary. However, it can be extremely enticing in a way.
Yeah.
And then you do it, and then it's like, okay, buyer's remorse or that fear factor starts coming back in, and you've had a little of all of that going on, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not the necessarily straight path here. You go to school, like my family, they kind of they go to school, they have a career, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And I've never felt like I fit in that group or in that way. And so I have just been so blessed to have people come into my life that sincerely have all these opportunities, and they see me when at times I don't even think I even recognized it or noticed what was within myself. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because it's been a journey, like really starting to love me and find out who I am. And I'm still learning, really, to be very honest. But the more I have these amazing people coming into my life, the more I'm like, it just kind of lights up even more. So not always is it, the way that you are supposed to, or they say you're supposed to go. It's really you follow your heart more than anything. And the joy that you find in that is just, it's unexplainable. And that's how I feel. I had the pulls that I've had, those inspirations, the things that just happen to work out in the weirdest, craziest ways, is exactly how I have met most of who I know. And I really love working with, for sure.
Well, okay. So, and where I'm going with all this, there is a method to the madness here, guys. And that is, and it's that when I met you, I'll never forget. I was in LA, and I almost didn't go because I was supposed to, I had like 2 or 3 things I needed to do that weekend. There was a lot going on that particular weekend. However, one of my friends, dear friends, she's like, you've got to come over here. No matter what, you're close enough. You've got to drive over here. I drove in even late for that day. I came for the one day, and I was even later. But the thing that stood out to me was when they were talking about this event, and they were talking about how you and your energy and everything that you were doing, you were standing in the back, they highlighted you, and I'm like, who is this person? And there was like this energy pull. It was like, okay, I need to meet this woman. There's some reason I need to. And so afterwards, I think I just beelined over to you. I pulled a Renee, because that's who I was there to see, Renee Reich. And she's the one that convinced me, you gotta come, Tam, gotta come. So I go over there, and I'm thinking, okay, what's your story? I just wanted to know. And I had to kind of wait around even a bit.
You
I
did.
remember. Yeah. And it was like, okay, but we started talking and we started realizing that there was a connection that we needed to explore a little bit because and it was like, okay, what is this? Why is this? And we determined at that time that it was because of the fact that um, you had someone in your family, an extended person in your family that had really been a big part of your journey and really affected you when it came to when we talked about the cancer piece of it. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Well, you caught me so off guard was what I was just the way the emotion when you brought up and it was explaining what you were doing, it completely caught me off guard, in fact. And the first thing that came to mind was my kid's grandpa. He was kind of the grandpa that didn't have to be. And he's my sister's father-in-law, but he really took us in, and he was the one person that showed up for everything. He literally, they were there for everything. And he was diagnosed with cancer, and they actually the prognosis at first did not look good. And I remember, I think, being told it was just going to be, we'd be lucky to have him for a year. And that was devastating. It was completely devastating, especially to my kids, to my oldest daughter. That was like her everything. And the inspiration that he had, the foundation that he laid within just my family in general, it has been the biggest blessing for me ever, like hands down. And he's one of those. His name's Terry Harvey, and he was one of those people that sincerely loved people, and he knew how to have fun. Like, for real, he would tease the kids relentlessly. And I remember Jaden, my oldest, being told by her aunt, well, if you'll just ignore him, he'll go away. And he never went away. And he even wrote her a letter stating that, and he's like, I will never go away. And it has been, he worked so hard. I mean, he had a full-time job where he worked and hauled coal, and then he also had a farm. And at that point, one point he actually took part of the farm and they created a corn maze. And this corn maze was family friendly. I mean, it's got all kinds of fun stuff. And he really the sky was the limit with it. And they did a haunted part of it. They had a haunted forest at one point, and it's continued on now. And it's kind of like the legacy that he left, but it was a part of the community part of that pulling people together and the family aspect of it, and just what he stood for in that way. And he had a buddy, per se, that he went through treatments with, and all of these things. And so when you were telling me about that, it just clicked, and it was like, wow, because of that connection. And I firmly believe, like, that's kind of where I feel my calling is to the healing through connections. I also do some energy work, and I'm a practitioner, and that, as you knew, like with the energy in the room and all of that, that's really what my specialty is. Mm-hmm. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And so that was the kind of energy. He had that pure love energy, and the kids, they were seen. I mean, they absolutely were seen. And I think that is so important. I think that everyone needs to have that.
Mm-hmm. And yes, you did. And that was that energy, I can attest to that. There's something to it. And it's something that I will never forget. And it's now over a year ago. It has to be that happened. And yet, in so many ways, it just feels like it was yesterday. I want to recognize some people. We have Varia, and in fact, you recognize the name on the ticker tape on the bottom. Yes, she was one of our very first to donate to us when we started this up for the second annual event. We're going to go into that too, because it was over a year ago, because it was that and we'll talk about that in a few moments, that the Giving Tuesday event last year, that was something that, well, let's go here first. That was kind of fun and awkward and crazy and not perfect, and yet decided to just go ahead and go for it, right? And you participated that with that. You watched it, you commented, you were engaged, and I want to thank you for that. So explain what that was like to experience the first annual.
I was just blown away. I was so proud of what you were doing, because I mean, it was like all in. You say you're going to do something, and oh my goodness, world, watch out, because it is definitely something that is going to happen. And I think it was the most inspiring to me, because I'd even had that call, as you had asked, that pull to reach out and take part, and I was like, oh, and I was held back. And as I watched it, I really felt like, oh man, this is amazing. I really needed to be there. But I did what I could from where I was. And that part of it, I mean, just the energy from it and what you created, and you stayed up the whole entire time, making sure that you were committed. Yeah. It was amazing.
Well, thank you for that. Yes, in fact, because nothing is perfect, and when you say that you're going to do something, you do it. And last year there were a lot of twists and turns that take place in anything that's new, and we had them. And at the very last minute, we had to make some major shifts, and it was 3 days of being up. It wasn't 24 hours. It was 36 hours because it was getting it all ready. And then, we had the buddies, because we had we actually did go to Vegas, and we did create, because it was like, okay, we're gonna make our mark, because we knew then we were going to take Giving Tuesday. We talked about it. We will become the Jerry Lewis Telethon. It will happen. Yeah. And there is no doubt in our mind. And so it's like, okay, we're going to do this. And at the very last minute, we even had some of the buddies that we didn't know we were going to be able to get there. They end up flying in, and we have connection problems. I'm on a freeway that is closed down trying to get there. I mean, you talk about stuff.
Opposition.
Yet we did it. And we even had some sound issues on some of but I'll never forget, one of the most popular segment was the one we had the sound problems with and everything, and yet that ended up being the most favorite one of everybody's, because it was just so crazy. And what it did, I really believe, and I'm glad that you were able to experience it from that side. You were watching, you were being called to it, yet you hadn't yet fulfilled that calling. And so, hearing from you is a really great way of seeing, okay, first of all, we didn't call it Chemo Buddies for Life Give-a-thon. We were calling it the Service Heroes Telethon, benefiting Chemo Buddies for Life, because that was the bigger brand at the time. And we ended up having a lot of the service heroes come on, and some entertained. In fact, Skip actually entertained. Many people know that he was a photographer, videographer, award-winning, Academy Award-winning man from the film industry, and yet he also sings and plays guitar. So he was singing, he did his singing thing, and some of our other entertainers are actually going to be coming back again this year. But they all generously at the last minute said, okay, yeah, I'm in. I'm in because of this cause. I'm in because of whatever it may have been that they were in. And we were able to fill 24 hours back to back to back to back of shows. And to hear what you're sharing right now, that it was something that impacted you lets me know that we were really on to something.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it was an instant first, when I met you, obviously there was an instant pull of something. And as I watched, I mean, and that was the thing is I'm like, who is this lady? For real. And then the more you showed up consistently every single day, I was just like, wow, like right there, that is my hero, because that is like that has been my weakest link, really. And it has been amazing to see your commitment, and not only that, like there's so much more to that. I mean, it's so much bigger than that you can't even really, like, I still have a hard time wrapping my head around really what it is. But I mean, from the beginning, when you told me, I knew it was already happening. It was already on its way. So.
Okay, I have to make a correction, guys. Okay. I gave him a step up, I guess. He's laughing. Okay, Emmy award winning. Okay, you still won a great award, my dear. Yep, Thomas. Okay,
no, right?
I said it wrong. My bad. Okay, so we've corrected it officially. All right, so I'm glad we gave you a nice little chuckle there. Okay, so let's get back to it.
I love him.
I know, we all do. He's one of our favorites, guys. We have a lot of favorites.
Yeah.
Right? So last year we do this. We make it happen, and then immediately thereafter it's like, okay, now I'm running for the next impactor, and this was okay. This is it
this
too.
Was like, what?
Yeah, and this is it's even been mentioned already in our leadership meetings, and that is, okay, now Tamara, we're doing the next year, we're going to start this right after, right? And so we're not doing this last minute stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I actually promised that last year, but then it was like, well, I'm sorry, but we got to run for the next impactor, because if we win, look at what we will win. And there was no question. There was no question when it was like, okay, when we really got engaged, when this group got engaged, it was all in. We're going to win. There's no doubt. And in winning, everybody's going to win. And that was always the deal. And so you and I started visiting through the year. We started, and we became friends and started talking, and I was ever so impressed and fascinated by you for so many different reasons. One of which, yes, she has organizational skills that I desperately need. Because we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and it just so happens, since I am kind of like on camera a lot, everybody know mine, and so I started really putting it out there, though, that I was in need of help, and you started checking in with me. Okay, I'm hearing that you need this, I'm hearing that, why don't you talk to me about that? And you started like interviewing me in a way of what it is that I needed, right?
That's funny. I mean, really, it was a matter of finding out where you were at, and because already, like, you're showing up every day. You're showing up and you're doing the work, and whatever you're doing, I mean, who knows what the rest of that is. However, like, I was curious to see how you did it, like how you were accomplishing so much already. And then when you said you were going to run for the next impactor, I was like, whoa. But,
like, okay, you need another thing on your plate.
Well, that was the interesting thing, is that it was almost like my heart and intuitively, I already knew that it was yours. I really honestly felt that it was already yours. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. So, and look at it. It was like, it was amazing, that the whole cause. And I didn't even know what it was. Even now, I'm like looking at how that came into your life, and whatever way that was totally an inspired thing.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's none. There's none. None in my book. Um, we have Lachelle with us. She is America's super mom. Yes, she is. With her huge clan, it's amazing what you accomplish, and thank you for being here with us. Carol Brown is saying, I love it when everybody like starts to visit, and that's part of what we're all about too in our community. And so you start checking in, and then it's like, okay, we are going to do this. We are going to we won, and you started really engaging and helping, and we started creating different teams, and different people were doing different things, and you started, in fact, it was really interesting because last night when we do a lot of Zooms, a lot of meetings, guys, and yes, she's on all of them that I'm on too, because she is becoming like the glue. Literally, when I say the wind beneath my wings, this woman is. She is much, well, let's just say this. I want to be careful with it, but Jason Cisneros talks about his person that takes care of his life and makes his life happen, and he gives that person a very strong name that we'll just leave it at that, and which is a very good name. And I'm thinking, well, you don't have anything up on me now, Jason Cisneros. I've got Erin. We've got Erin, and he actually recognizes that too, and which has really been great. And so then you got to meet with his, person that keeps him going, and because he's incredible what he's been able to teach us and help us with. And so last night we were looking at something, and you were showing like how we're going to project manage things and how we're going to like take things to that next level. And you brought open a folder, and there it was, May of this year, from when we were talking, and you were mapping out. And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah. So you actually, so what it is that you do there, and I'm going to bring up a picture because I think it's absolutely adorable. It's on your stuff.
Oh no, Tamara always comes up.
Yeah. Well, this one I think is just, this just says it all. Because this is your crew, right? This is the group, and you live in rural Utah, and not much going on there, and yet you are an organized, basically more than, I would say, a virtual assistant. You are so much more than that. You actually now, you've been sent out of you're flying now. You've been kicked out of the nest a bit. It's like, okay, yes, you can make these decisions. Yes, this is where I need you to go, and yes, you may make these decisions, and you are helping to run this now. In many ways, you are starting to take care of these teams. I was watching you on one of our meetings, and literally you are in tune to all the different people. You're getting their energy, you're getting what they need, you're getting their style of learning, you're understanding what they need, how you can bridge that need to what we need as an organization. And you are doing this with all of the teams. We have a massive amount of people involved in this machine now, don't we?
Yeah, and it is the people, the way that they are just coming and attracted into us, into the cause in itself. It speaks so big, because this is a real, in all honesty, my personal belief is this, I tell you all the time, you have an army of angels on both sides of the fence, literally helping in all aspects. Because, even what you were talking about Sharon earlier on your other show, and it reminded me of that night. And my own experience when all of that happened. Even it was so interesting on how I can remember those details, but I remember the feeling. I remember all of these at these specific times, and I was like, I need to contact Tamara. And then it happened to be when they named you. I looked on there a couple hours later, and you had been in the top 50, and it was just that overwhelming, like, oh, something big is happening. And then when you told me, I think I reached out and you told me as well. I was like, wow.
Right.
And since then, even more so, you really literally have them on both sides for, like,
it. Oh yeah.
She made a difference, and she still, I believe she still is in every aspect. And so now we have the people that are showing up, and even just the quality of people that you have surrounded yourself with. They are amazing. There is no doubt about that. They really are truly amazing.
Yeah. I cannot brag enough. And in fact, I gave like a little bit of a, well, it's an Emmy is pretty darn amazing. You know? Okay, so anyway, it's like, okay, when you think about it, and we have person after person after person. I mean, are you not, like last night, for example, we're taking care of, okay, I'm not the best techie person. I actually thought I really thought you had to pay for hashtags at one point. I really did. And I didn't have a Facebook page, except for that I wanted to see my grandkids' pictures that lived in the house with me. But I didn't get, and it was like, okay, that's the way I'll get to see them, is that, but it was never live. And Twitter, I thought, was a bird, literally, and all of that. And so then it's like, okay, yeah, you're going to run a social media digital platform nonprofit that's going to change the world. Okay, download. I get it. I don't know how, but I'm a recruiter. We'll find the people, right? But there was no doubt in my mind that this was needed. And last night we were on a Zoom with our technical team, and they were a little frustrated with
well, and you're so amazing. Like, Tamara says, this is what I want, right? And it's like done. And then she says, this is what I want, and then it's done. So then, I mean, they truly are so amazing, and so and then now they're just like, now what is it?
I know. Well, and I mean, I'm not out to frustrate anybody, and they were fine with it, and there was a lot of giggles and sweet winks and stuff like this, but the nail was really hit into the wall when you. This is where I want to go with this too, is that you saw we needed another person at that meeting that was totally involved and yet wasn't asked to be there at that moment in time because didn't know it was going to be needed. You took it upon yourself to get a hold of that person, invite that person, ask if it was all right, have that person show up, and then everything again, just like clockwork, because that's what happens with this, is that, okay, everything went back into alignment. Everything now is going in a peaceful way again. It was like, okay, there was a little disruption in the force, but now the force is with us again, and that was because you saw, this is where I wanted to go and say thank you as a service hero, is that you saw we just needed this person that had already agreed to be there for this, and at this very moment in time, it would be the right move to have that person involved in the meeting. And we all need that kind of help in our day, in our businesses, in our nonprofits, in our families, in our lives, because sometimes that little adjustment can make a huge difference. And it really did, didn't it?
Oh yeah. Like, and I can't take credit for that, because in all honesty, she's the one that brought in that, that was all what she brought into the picture. And at the same time, it was just, as a collective, everybody really working together as a team and trying to really make sure we were all, because we all have different perspectives and we're seeing it on a different side. And so for us to be able to even understand each other sometimes is just like your head just is going to explode on some days. And I just like, wait, I want to understand that.
Yeah. And yet what happens, which I'm so grateful for, is that because of the people that have come, when you look at how everybody has come, there's a serious miracle word in each person that has come into this volunteer situation, of which we have nothing but volunteers. That's why we're raising money, though, because we need a couple of employees, wink wink, yes, yes, and yes, and we, to take care of going global. We are not at all a bloated nonprofit, and yet we need to run it in an effective way. And when you look at the hours that each one of these volunteers, I come from the staffing world. I had a temporary service. I have been a headhunter. I think in terms of that way. And when I start calculating what I believe the hours are, and you actually said, okay, we need to start calculating these hours, and so that we start qualifying for grants, because of the fact that we have people that literally have full-time jobs, amazing full-time jobs, that are at the top of their game. And then it's like they are working as a volunteer, another full-time job, really, is what it ends up being, because they believe in it so much, right?
Right. And, like, back to our technical team, because those are the ones I probably work with the very closest and the most. And so that's where I refer to. Doesn't mean that anyone else is doing anything less, because everyone does so much. But it's a matter of, like, I see that they have families, they have full-time, a couple jobs that they work full-time, probably on both. And then they literally take the time, and they put so much time into it. Like, for real, both of them. Like, Christy, I know I can call her and I'm like, I don't know how to figure this out. And she'll be like, hey, this is what you do, or this. And I mean, she's the one that I have to actually give credit to on the whole tracking hours. She's the one that was like, this is why. And I was like, oh, right. And so she really inspires me more than anything, her and Tony, because then they both have their structure where they have their families, and that's most important. But then they also are doing so much to give back, and they're not asking anything in return. They just are here because they want to serve, and they believe in it.
Right. And that is where I really want to stress this, because of the fact that we are having, in 19 days, in 18 and a half actually, but in 19 days is Giving Tuesday. The Tuesday after Thanksgiving, that's been set aside for philanthropic endeavors. We've decided to own it. Mark our words, there's no doubt, none, that at some point in time, we are going, we will be global on television, radio, streaming media, everywhere, like it used to be in the day when Jerry Lewis monopolized the regular TV. You turned on the TV and it's like, if you didn't like it, you turned it off. And you didn't have videos that you could put in. You had to go outside and play or something, and now we are building up to that, and we're not going to stop, because cancer doesn't stop. Cancer does not discriminate. Cancer you listen to that 6-letter word and you talk to anybody. Like when I go and speak and I start off and I have everybody standing. They're not giving me an ovation at the moment, but I have everybody standing within the first few moments of my speech because I ask 2 questions. 2 questions, that's it. And basically, have they been affected by cancer one way or another, or they know someone, for them to be standing? I look throughout the room and then I have everybody look throughout the room. And it never ceases to amaze me wherever I am that everybody is standing with me. And the reason why is because everybody has been affected by it. And yes, it's an epidemic. You can have all sorts of different thoughts why. We're not going there because what we are building and why everybody's coming and why we're talking about this and we're raising this, the energy and the vibration and the just the knowledge that there is a new game in town, and that is called something as simple as buddies. And we don't care what kind of treatment someone decides to go for, be traditional, alternative, or adjunctive. I mean, like you mentioned that you're a healer. We know healers. We're going to be talking and having some of them on the show. Ooh, I'm so excited. Wait until you guys start seeing what we've got planned for you. Oh my goodness. It's getting more and more and more and more and more exciting as each day goes by. And yes, we will be publishing the schedule soon, but we have to finish up with some of the details on some of these things. But they're getting so exciting. It is just so fun. And we are building a movement that is supporting those that have been patients or are patients, and then the support people. I want to say support staff, but no, the support buddies. And people say, you know, oh, you're supposed to have an avatar. Well, in truth, our movement touches nearly, if not everybody in the world. Right?
And you know, it even comes down to, I love the fact that science is starting to catch up with so much, and you know, just the connection and being the healing through connections. You know, we have the art, we have the music, we have laughter, we have I mean, it's endless. Nature, I mean, and those can even subcategorize down into like so many things. And the bottom line is just within this network that we're building, this community, it is going to be a place where anyone can come and literally find that connection, because it's not like we're not discriminating against anyone for that matter. And I mean, it is just mind blowing for me to even try to talk about it, to explain it, because I'm like, I know it sounds so big, and yet I already see what it is. So
right. Well, it's been big ever since the beginning, and then it was, and you know, and it was almost like, okay, yeah, right. Some people were almost like, yeah, right, and then it was like, okay, so are you going to see it all the way through, or yeah, right, or how is that going to work? And yet now, when we were even talking about last night about the here and now of the cb4l.org, that's our current site. However, we are building what we call the beta site, but last night we were basically calling it the what?
I don't even remember.
Monster. I mean, it's just like it's a mega machine. And we can see, and the thing about it is that when Tony showed up, Tony was a gift. Tony was brought into my world by Tamara Lannan. Tamara Lannan was brought into my world because, you know, and she's a survivor, and she actually came up to me and she's like, I like you already because you're saying your name right. Yes, anybody that knows Tamara, she's got a little bit of a, you know, she's a sailor. We're very different, and yet our names are the same. And she's a bit of a bulldog, right? And she's the one that said, okay, you got to meet this guy. And then when I explained what we were looking at and what it's going to be, and I wrote it down a long time ago when the download came, and put it into, like, not mapping like we were taught last night, but like, an outline. And sitting there with him and talking about it, he just is so calm, and he's like, okay, mm-hmm. And this was months ago. Mm-hmm. And then he he started to go to work. And all of a sudden I'm hearing, I have something to show you. Yeah. It was even a surprise.
Challenged him. He was like, "You're on."
Yeah. So then it was, and I actually, he's out in Phoenix, so I had been going out there a lot. And so I actually was there, and I'm sitting in front of it, and he's like, and then in this, and then that, and then this. And I'm like, wow. And he's so humble about it. Yeah, I wrote a little code here. I did that there. I did this here. Yeah, we're tweaking this now. What do you think about this? And right, and I'm thinking, for the first version of taking this thing out into the world, and it being that a volunteer has helped make that happen, that's a miracle.
Well, and this, what he's building, I mean, it takes people years. Like, I have a friend that's done something similar, and it's years and years of coding, and I mean, it's a really big deal. And I remember when we talked about it, you were telling me your vision, and I was trying to even write it down on my board as I was trying to wrap my head around it, and I'm thinking, okay, wow, but where do we start right now? Like, what can we do right now? And it was amazing how watching you literally be able to say what that was, and where you were saying that, but still keeping that big vision, literally has called those people in. I mean, because you've already seen it, what it was. I mean, and as you explained it, I did the map in my head, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And for real, like that's the way you do it. If anyone wants to create something, right here, watching Tamara and the way she goes for it, her consistency, the dream, like, she really knows there's nothing stopping her to get this. It's already there. So I have so much respect for you and all that you do. Like, I think you're superhuman most of the time. Because I'm like,
no,
wow.
Talk to my family. They'll be like,
Exactly. Like, as far as organized goes, I can help organize other people awesomely. And then I walk out and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I need to do some organizing, or, so, I mean, but you are really changing lives and helping people. And every person, this is a consistent thing too, is every person that I've talked to that has anything to do with you, and they start to tell me kind of how they connected with you, every one of them, I just love her. I will do anything for her, like, literally. And I'm like, oh, you got that too. Yep, I know that feeling. So it is truly an honor to be able to do that as well.
Thank you. And I will say, in total disclosure, there are a few people that have unfriended me, I think I may have tagged them too many times, or whatever it may be, because no one's perfect. And I just want to say that, and however, as we come around the stretch here, I really want to emphasize the fact that this is bigger than all of us. And in truth, it's bigger than me, and it's bigger than anybody, and what it is that we're doing. And we are letting it be known that we have a huge goal for us. For us this year, it's huge. Next year, it's going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that goal and thinking that was so huge, and we did that, and no, it's the here and now. And right now it is huge, and we need help. We need help because we are going to do this. It's just going to happen a lot faster, and it will get to the people that need it, because we talk about this all the time. That person in the night that is afraid and feeling very alone and is wondering if they will be able to make it, because they've just heard that they have cancer and they don't have any support. They may be in a different country. They may just not be able to know where that next day is going to take them. We don't want them to even have to think twice. We want them to be able to grab their cell phone. And we talk about the fact that there are more people out there with cell phones than clean water. Okay, that will someday, maybe we can help that with that too, because it's amazing what's going to end up happening because of all of this. However, let's keep it real. We right now are building, and we've just made the case that we are building what we can take out so that that person will be able to link in to get a support group, to be able to get some answers, to possibly even be able to have a buddy. Whatever it may be that they need, we are going to be easing their suffering that they're experiencing at that very moment in time. That sick thing in their gut saying, I don't know that I even want to continue, because that happens. And we are not going to let it to happen. We're not going to let it continue, because this is going global. That is where this is going. That's one of the reasons of winning the first global next impactor. Let's get the title right, Tamara.
I have a hard time every time too. So.
You changed it on me. So, okay. So the first global next impactor. That's it. Okay. Say that fast 3 times. Okay. So we have a goal of $50,000. We do have some money that I need to put into, the offline. So I'm not sure exactly where we're at now, but I think we're somewhere, I don't know, but we're in the hundreds. We haven't even hit $1,000 yet. However, we've got 19 days and counting. We are going to be putting on an extravaganza, streaming media going throughout the world live, and we're going to be connecting throughout the world live. And we even have TV stations, news stations now that are agreeing that they're going to come out and cover this. We are still in talks with, we haven't nailed it down, but we may end up being on the radio too. But the bottom line is we're doing it. So what are you waiting for? We are still looking for ambassadors, and we were just taught by one of the top business people. Wasn't that incredible? Yeah. Rob Clark.
I wanted to seriously just find money and just hand it to him right there, just because he's so inspiring. He's amazing.
We've got amazing people that we're working with, and that keep coming, and that are generously giving of themselves. And this was a training. He gave of himself. And then he said, yes, I will help make this happen. Yes, call upon me. And so we have programs that will benefit the companies, benefit them. That is our way of looking at it. We will benefit you before we are ever benefited in return. However, what will then happen is it will go through us to benefit the world for those people that need us. That's pretty big.
It's a win for everyone, for real. It's a matter of changing lives and changing them in the very most vulnerable times in their life. And so for people to come and join us, it really is, this is something that is going to, I don't know how many people have been in a situation where they've been isolated or alone. Me personally, I have felt that way. It may not have been through cancer, but I remember those nights where they were dark and lonely, and it would have, to have that connection. And I remember not so long ago just texting you saying, hey, we need to talk. And you you got up and called me. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it was the middle of the night, but that's what you do.
Well, and that wasn't my intention, but you felt it, you knew it, and that's the kind of people that we have here at Chemo Buddies for Life on both sides of the fence. And so that's what we're offering to people that are in need of that. And when you're going through something so hard and so big, I mean, you need a buddy. You need someone to, even if it's just to sit there in it with you for a minute, that means the world, and that does change lives.
Yes. Yes. So as we start to close, we've got a little, about 4 minutes. As we start to close.
I gotta say hi to Christy. She's here.
Oh, Christy. Hi, Christy. Oh, yes. I see. Christy. Hi, Christy. Thank you for everything you're doing. We're bragging about you today. Watch it later. I love it. I love our team. What would you like to tell people? If you could say pearls of wisdom, or why is it that you joined, or what would you like to share as we close?
So I honestly, I mean, I just know that this is so much bigger than me. It's bigger than, it's just so big that, in all honesty, the heart behind what this movement, very honestly, is going to create, the changes it's going to make, and just the impact. And I mean, why not be a part of it now? I mean, hello, we have so much fun too. Like we do. Everyone works so hard for real, but you know, what is it if you're not having fun? And and to work with some of these top world leaders as far as business and I haven't even met them all, but you know, they really, like Jason, he brings fun to the table. He really does, and so do so many others. And as I am meeting these people, it's like, have I not known you my whole life? Like, for real. And so, I mean, and so as a collective, I mean, whatever it is that you can do to help, whether it be just being there to support us and watching us and really, I mean, even if it's change, if it's $5, whatever that is, or if you want to come and join us, we have plenty. We can always, I mean, the more the merrier, quite frankly, because there's so much, we have stuff that anyone can do, like anyone, tech savvy or not, that is not a problem, because
I can attest for that.
You do amazing. You really do. But we can figure all of those things out. And we can even have just a conversation on, okay, well, what does it look like for you? What would you like to do? And almost every time that conversation happens, something is already right there that we were like, oh, we just needed this. Perfect.
Yep.
And every time it's been that.
Yeah.
So please reach out.
Yeah, if you're feeling that calling, because that's what we're hearing, is that people are feeling called. So if you're feeling it, yes, you're feeling it, because that's what's happening. This is bigger than me. It's bigger than Erin. It's bigger than any of us. And yet it is for that one person. And that's what we always go back to. Whenever we start to close things, we always talk about that one person that is in need of us. And we think about them in the middle of the night, that they're crying out, and they don't know that anybody is out there for them and that wants to be there with them. And we do. We are here, and we just need to finish making this happen. And we will not stop until that is the case, right?
Right. Well, and you know what? Quite frankly, I truly believe that those people that are feeling that way, they need to also know that we need them just as much. Like, they are just as big a blessing to us to allow us to serve them. And so, I mean, whoever that may be, always reach out. And if you want to help, you can definitely do that. If you just want to connect, I mean, I'm always up for laughing or whatever that looks like. Fun is fun.
Yeah, we do. We giggle a lot. In fact, that's Sharon. Sharon would say, yes, we're giggling. Yes, we are. So as we close day number 339 of 365 days of awesome, celebrate success through service. I want to thank you, Erin, for everything that you are doing. You have come at a time that you allowed yourself to walk into your destiny, and that is that you are helping us to build something so huge, and yet we are bringing it to that one. We don't let it be so big that it like blows our mind all the time, because we think about the one, and in helping the one, that one will help another one, and then another one. It will be like that image around the world, one person at a time, one buddy at a time, and you are helping to make that happen, and I cannot say thank you enough.
It's such an honor. Thank you. Like you, everyone that I needed, this has been the biggest blessing ever. So thank you. It's been an honor for real.
So thank you. And go donate. Donate now. Donate now. I mean, that has been happening, and we are recognizing, look, there's more names here. And I want to say thank you to all of these names. Tomorrow morning, I'll be reading them off on the countdown, the new ones. And so check out the countdown shows. We've been honoring our volunteers every day. Go to our Instagram for Chemo Buddies for Life. We are doing that there too. We're actually getting our Twitter up and going, believe it or not. And so, but donate, and become a sponsor or an ambassador, because together we are going to change the world. And wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to say, I helped make that happen. My company helped make that happen. And we're going to help your company to be rewarded for making that happen. So thank you. Go out and make it a great day, guys. And remember to find your daily dose of laughter. Bye.